Let's write a poem. So I'm inspired to do this by by my character from my novel Home Sweet Home. He got into poetry when he has to change schools. And so this reminded me of my enjoyment of doing like write a poem with me on YouTube. And so I want to continue that. But the unique part is that his counselor shows him a notebook with a saying on it, and that kind of helps him break out of his writing habit of writing to his dad and instead writing for himself and writing to explore himself. And so I, as I showed you, am grabbing a notebook with a saying on it, and that notebook is Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. And so her notebook says, "We're all just starring in our own stories." And so I like that. And this is my first time seeing it since I bought the book. So I didn't even remember that's what it said. And so I'm going to write a poem based on this. So write with me. And if you don't want to do a poem, maybe you could draw or paint something inspired by this quote. Or you could write a short story inspired by this quote. Whatever you feel moved to do, create with me. So I got my notebook and I'm gonna start. We're all just starring in our own stories. I think today's date is the 27th. Yep. Sorry, answered a call from my boyfriend. I'm back. I do want to share because I want to think this out loud and kind of say it out loud. So I'm going to read it. So I'm going to remind you of the quote. We're all just starring in our own stories. Not center stage, not an actor or actress in a movie. In a book, we are starring. I do not play Desiree. I am Desiree. But what about the role? We all have roles in life. But what about the role? We all have roles in life. My role as daughter first, then student, then sister. But what if my first role was being a child of God or being a human in the world? I feel roles are complex. Who are we? That's our forever spiral. Searching, exploring, understanding, loving, embracing, contemplating, stressing, deciding, confiding, learning. The role to play ourselves is the biggest pressure, yet we take it for granted or can't always remember this one specific role, being ourselves. We do and don't remember it. We do and don't appreciate it. It's hard seeing my life as a book, though I'm a writer. It's true my life is my story, but my story isn't a book. My story is a piece of history, lucky enough to be remembered by few. And that last line, lucky enough to be remembered by few, I feel like I've heard someone talk about like being remembered in that way. Like if I'm remembered by some or by few, then at least I'll be remembered. And so it's not about like the quantity, it's about being remembered at all, no matter how small or how big the amount of people are. And so I like that. I feel like my middle and my ending got to more where I want it to go, but there is definitely something there in the beginning, especially like we all have roles in life. My role as a daughter first, then student, because I was going to say daughter, sister, because usually that comes daughter, sister, aunt. But really, if I'm thinking about like the walks of life, because I had a gap from when my brother was born, I was a daughter first. Then I went to school, so I became a student. And then my brother was born, so I became a sister. And then you can get into, I became a friend. And then what after friend you could have, I guess I'm going to skip, and then I became a worker, a co-worker. That was my role. A teacher. That's a role. So it's just interesting how we can simplify a role, but at the same time, who's to say that that's the role? That's why I like how I say about like actually is being a child of God our first role, or is being just a human being itself our actual role, because that's our forever spiral about roles. We're trying to do so much in each category, but really we're just supposed to fulfill ourselves. And so it's so interesting because this quote says, we're all just starring in our own stories. At the end of the day, it's about us. And that's not selfish, that's the truth. We wake up in our own bodies. We wake up ourselves. And the hard of that, the good of that, the complicatedness of that, like for some reason my mind went to marriage, like for better or for worse, that's ourselves first. Like we're saying that with ourselves every single day, every second technically, for better or for worse, that's our own story. And so it's kind of like, what am I trying to say? I guess I'm just trying to say, I guess speak for myself, am I remembering that I need to put myself first? I think about it because I hear it being encouraged so much, especially now on social media. So I am thinking about it. But do I remember it every minute of my day? No. No, because I guess it's responsibility. Like my responsibility at work to take care of children. So it's like, yeah, I'm making sure I'm capable of doing it. But at the end of the day, I'm watching them and making sure they're okay. But then if I think about like at home, I'm watching a show or I'm watching a YouTube video, am I thinking about myself? Not necessarily, because I'm seeing someone else's life and maybe I'm comparing, or maybe I'm wanting something they have, or I'm grateful that I'm not going through something that they're going through. And so in that moment, I'm realizing something about myself, but it didn't initially start that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to go deep. And it's just a whirlwind of me speaking. But I like where I'm going with this, so I'm going to try to rewrite it or continue it. I don't know. And I'll check back in for my next read of the poem. So let's get back to creating or writing. Okay, that last line's interesting. I don't know how you guys will take it, so let me know. All right, you ready for my second version or second edited version? Well, now an edited version of the poem. Alrighty. I am not pretending to be Desiree. I am Desiree. But what about my role? We all have roles in life. My role as daughter first, then student, then sister, then friend, then worker. But what if my first role was being a child of God, or being a human being in this world? Who are we? That's our forever spiral. Searching, exploring, understanding, loving, embracing, contemplating, stressing, deciding, confiding, learning. The role to play ourselves is the biggest pressure, yet we can't always remember to be ourselves. We do and don't remember it. We do and don't appreciate it. It's true, my life is my story, but my story isn't a book. My story is a piece of history, lucky enough to be remembered by few. We're born with individuality, but how do we love that individuality? It's not main character energy. It's cycled energy that creates life, which is existence. We're all just starring in our own stories, linked together by creation. I do like that last line. Yeah. Yeah. I still feel like something's missing to piece this together stronger. But this was fun. I feel like I usually only do like 2 drafts of it and then I end the video. And usually I feel like I'm done, but right now I don't, but I kind of also don't want to continue. But this was fun. Like, I like that I explored this and did this. I'm grateful. My character's name is Lasher. I don't know if I said that. And I'm grateful that I did this, inspired by my character and my book. And so it was interesting. It explored something about, one, that concept of like we're all the main characters in our life, or like how some people say the world is like a whole dream, or that we're characters in a book. Like, it explored all those ideas, but it also explored like how we do focus on roles and responsibilities. How this poem explored like how society may think of like life and birth and death, individuality and self-acceptance and self-understanding. It was a surprise, I will say that. Definitely let me know what you wrote, what you created, what you first thought of when you heard or saw that quote from Nicola Yoon, and I will show the book again. I don't even know if you can see the words. There you go. And fun fact, I like to collect notebooks. So will I ever write in this? Probably not. I guess that would have been cool if like I wrote this poem in this notebook, but that's not gonna happen because I like notebooks staying how they are, unwritten. So that's a fun fact about me. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and you can order Home Sweet Home if you're interested. And don't forget, just write. write your story. I wonder, should I think about that too? Like, my ending is just write your story. And so that's kind of like, if you're a writer, write that story. But also, like, write, yeah, like, write your story, like who you are, share it. Don't hide it. And I guess that ties with that quote, and also like what I'm trying to explore in that poem is like, be who you are. And so why do we say that in story form instead of reality form? Like, what is real? And maybe that's what I want to add in the poem. That's what's missing. Is like, why do we tie it to a play, a book, something that's a product, or something that's basically man-made that we created, when in reality, like, we're just being, we just are. And so it's kind of like, I guess it's a comfort of like why we like associate that way, because that helps us understand it better. But like, how can we word it in not that metaphorical way? And so that's me just questioning my ending. But am I going to keep it because I like it? Yes. But still exploring it. That's cool to just talk about. So yeah, don't forget, just write your story, and take care.